What's going on, folks? It's Tuesday night. Time to talk some football.
Oh, geez. What's up, everybody? We're going to flip things around a little differently. I'm going to go first this time. I am BD. Today, I am coming at you from – crap, I forgot the name of it. What was the name of the place? The Picante Grill Studios.
Nice.
Really good Mexican food place right across from the Witty. Used to go there all the time until they closed a few years ago. So
excellent. While we're on the subject of things, first of all, shout out to my guy Sol Rock Cardenas for making this wonderful helmet for me. This really does look like probably one of the closest replications to a player helmet that I've seen in a long time. So if you guys are looking for something along the lines of a duplicate helmet like this, just find Sol Rock Cardenas on Facebook, and he's got his own helmet business. You can get a helmet just like this, or a Roughnecks helmet, or a Birmingham helmet, or any helmet really. And he does an incredible job and at a great price. You may have to get him a couple of pictures just to make sure that he gets the logos right and everything like that, but he is a consummate professional in his work. So again, shout out to Sol Rock Cardenas. That's my guy. He makes these incredible, awesome helmets. Now that I've done that shout out, first of all, what's up, Bobby? Great to see you, man. That is one of our friends from the Pro Arena Talk group. We love those guys. Right now, obviously, not a whole bunch of Pro Arena Talk going on, but they are on top of everything. So if there's any news that comes out, they're the guys that you're going to want to see. Now, I do have to do a disclaimer because we're going to be talking about some things tonight. Obviously, most of you Brahmas fans know that our season tickets have finally gone on sale. And what's up, Jackie? Good to see you. I'm glad you got the eyes out because you're going to want to make sure you're watching this, okay? Again, this is a disclaimer. Season tickets have gone out. We're going to be talking about some tough subjects tonight. And there might be some people with their feelings getting hurt tonight with what they hear from me saying tonight. So I'm just warning you in advance, right? If for whatever reason you're got kind of sensitive feelings or something like that, tonight's not going to be your show. We're not going to be the guys you're going to want to watch tonight because we're going to be saying some tough things, and some of you fans may not want to hear these things. So we love you all. We don't mean to hurt people's feelings, but sometimes the truth has to be said. So this is your last warning. Now's the time to tune out if you don't want to hear some of the tough talk that we're going to be talking about tonight. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, you're still here, so we're going to be jumping right in.
You're here. You're along for the ride, all right? No jumping off. Let's go.
Yep, and again, we don't mean to hurt feelings, but some things need to be said. First and foremost, well, not to our fans. We don't want to hurt our fans' feelings. Okay,
we're just gonna say what we think, and you know what? If somebody gets their feelings hurt, then you know what? That's on them. I don't care.
First and foremost, I think it's important to know that season tickets are available. If you are thinking about, if you're a season ticket holder, there should be no reason why you cannot renew your tickets.
No.
First things first, okay? We have a 4 home game schedule this year. That means you're only paying the price of 4 games. They are not charging you 5 and you getting 4. You are being charged 4 games. You are going to see 4 games at home.
Absolutely.
Okay? I know there's a bunch of people that are upset right now because we only have a 4-game schedule. I understand your pain and your concern. You have to understand that the Final Four takes way more precedence than the UFL. And the Final Four has been booked at the Alamo Dome for probably several years now.
Probably the last 5 years. I think it was probably 4 or 5 years that it was announced that San Antonio was having the Final Four this year. So, we've kind of known this was going to happen.
Yep.
Hell, we know a lot. We talked about it last year. I wonder how it's going to work out next year with the Final Four. Well, now we found out.
Mm-hmm. And let's be honest. I don't think any of us believed. Yes, 100%, Jackie. Everybody's into logic, and Christy,
logistics
or logistics. I'm sorry, not logic. Yeah,
logic's out the window. I don't see anybody focusing on logic here.
Yeah. And Christy right here said, shouldn't sugarcoat anything, stand in your business and own it. And that's what we do here. So we knew that this was a potential, right? We've had 2 years now where we've had some pretty rough schedules. Year one was a nightmare, okay? With the Easter game and with Mother's Day and all these other things that got in the way, Fiesta, we knew that we were in for a nightmare of a ride, okay? Same thing happened last year. It wasn't as bad, but it was bad. This year is going to be bad. We're not going to get these perfect schedules because of the way this schedule falls, or I'm sorry, the season falls rather, and with all the things that happen around those times here in San Antonio, such as
it's a spring league. It's a spring league. You have holidays in the spring. Like it's just common sense, you know. Okay, yeah, Mother's Days are going to be on every Sunday. We're going to have a game on Mother's Day. You know what? The championship game was on Father's Day. It was on a Sunday. You know, we might have games on Father's Day. San Antonio, we've got Fiesta. It's 2 weeks long. So you know what? It's going to interfere with the game. So, you know, we've got Easter. It falls on a Sunday. You're going to have a game on Easter. It's just the way it is. And, you know, stop crying about it. Just get over it. You know, it's going to happen. As long as this league is around, we're going to have games in the spring. We're going to have complications with holidays.
Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I don't want to hear people getting upset about is how we're getting screwed by the league, because this has nothing to do with the league. And specifically, I want to make sure that we give a big shout out to our guy, James Carr, who is weathering the storm, dealing with all of this, trying to get everybody interested to renew their tickets and things like that. And I'm sure he's probably taking a beating right now by a lot of these fans that are saying, it's you, because James right now is the face of the league. Don't do that, okay? James has nothing to do with this. He's our ticket rep. He is a wonderful, wonderful individual, saint of a human being. But it is not his fault. So don't go after him. And it's not really the league's fault.
And the other ticket reps. You know, James is our ticket rep, but there's others. So it is not it's not the team's fault. It's not the ticket rep's fault. So don't be blowing them up and being idiots to them.
Yeah. So bunch of great comments coming in today. I want to make sure that we cover all this. Jackie, first of all, is right. People buy tickets for 5 games, only go to 3 or 4, and then complain because there's a game that falls on a holiday. You knew it was going to happen. It's spring football. Okay? Van Hurst right here talking about Birmingham, how they've got a whole bunch of other stuff going on, like the NCAA women's basketball tournament, Disney on Ice. I mean, it takes a while to make ice anywhere, right? So you're going to have about a week or so to make the ice and then a week to do the performances. Everybody's dealing with scheduling issues. We've gotten very lucky and very spoiled to get what we've gotten, okay? So, again, 4 home games. You're only paying for 4 home games. This is not the league's fault. This is not James Carr's fault. James, love you to death, my brother, okay? This is falling more on the scheduling conflicts because of what's going on at the Alamo Dome that is going to take precedence over us. We all love the UFL, no doubt about it. But the 250,000, 300,000, 600,000, whatever, that love the UFL, pale in comparison to the, what, probably
millions. Like, I mean,
well, the 2 million alone that are going to roll through San Antonio watch the Final Four, and then the 18 million that are going to be watching it at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're talking not just people watching it, the revenue that the city is going to make from that. You know, I'm sorry. I don't think the city's going to make a whole lot of money from a Brahmas game. You know,
no.
They're like, what was the prospects? I think last time we hosted one, it was something like $120 million to the city. So, you know, I don't remember if that number's accurate. I didn't do any research, you know, because why would I do research? But I just remember that number popping up. So, yeah. Yeah.
So again, startup league, we're not going to make that kind of money. Jan, I will address your comment, but I can't post it because when we try and be a family show here, we try not to do profanity. But I will get to you in just a second. Before we get to that point, the league is going out of their way to try and give us something, even though they really kind of dropped the ball in the home game. situation with that 5th game in St. Louis. And we'll get to that in just a second. But we want to talk about this right here. We get perks this year, 100%. Season ticket holders get a lot of perks. Brian, did you get a chance to bring up some of those perks that
No, I wasn't asked to, so I didn't have it ready. Sorry.
That's fine.
Why would we prep? Why would we prep for this? Come on now.
Why would we prep? Okay. First and foremost, there's a season ticket holder event this weekend at SeaWorld, right? Pardon me. I'm about to belch, and I don't want to do that in the thing. You get 2 tickets, parking pass, and you get I believe a meal. Less than $100 this weekend.
It's like
holders.
40. I think like $45-$50 for a ticket, a parking pass, and a meal. So,
yes. Oh, and Mike G just said it also. There's season ticket holder shows and season ticket holder only lines to get onto some of the rides, right? So, as a season ticket member, you get access to some of the stuff that you have to buy the fast pass for, just to do that at SeaWorld, right? So there's benefits right there. There's special shows. You get food. It's specific to the season ticket holders. Okay. We got Jeremy Garcia's eyes on us. That's awesome. Here's another thing. There are going to be some other benefits as well. And I know Jackie's going to post those up in the chat. But there are, I'm on Mike G, XFL Mike G's Facebook page right now. Here it is. I knew I'd find it. Let me share this with you guys. Not that button, maybe the share screen button. And how about we do this right here? Share. Okay. We're going to look at this full screen. Here are the benefits that you're going to get. Opportunities to choose exclusive game day experiences, which is what we've had, right? There's a minimum of 3 season ticket member events just for the season ticket holders. You get a complimentary Brahmas medal, priority access to other team events, 25% discount on merchandise at the UFL shop. Here's the new ones. 2 complimentary tickets to the home openers, so you can invite a first timer. Season ticket member only entrances at the home games, which we've never had before. Season ticket member only lines at select merchandise stands on the game days. Exclusive season ticket member team partner events, and exclusive season ticket member offers and rewards from the team partners. Okay? So what that's saying is they're going out of their way to try and make it up to us fans with different things. Discounts on merchandise, special entrances, access to partner events and things like that. Okay? So yeah, it sucks that we're only going to have 4 games. It sucks that the league dropped the ball with the St. Louis thing. Now, let's talk about the St. Louis thing real quick. I do feel that the league kind of dropped the ball with the St. Louis event, right? It should have been a home game away. St. Louis should not be posting on their Facebook page that they've got 6 home games. That part, the league should have done a better job. It should have been.
I don't even think that matters. I mean, you're gonna label us the home team for one. Even if they did that, it's dumb. It's not a home game. So they're calling it a home game for St. Louis. Like I said, I don't think it's not going to be counted as a 5th home game for us. Our season is officially going to have 4 home games and 6 road games. That's okay. That's what I'm assuming based on what I've seen posted by St. Louis and stuff.
Right, but I'm going to offer the alternative to you. Okay, remember Katrina, when the New Orleans Saints came here and played in the Alamo Dome. Those games counted as home games for the New Orleans Saints, even though they were playing in San Antonio.
Right.
So I would expect the league to have done basically the same thing. Now, maybe a neutral site would have been better. Okay, maybe we could have found another stadium somewhere. Maybe use Rice if it was available, or TDECU if Houston wasn't there that weekend. Something like that. Something to make it advantageous to the San Antonio fans, and maybe kind of cut that distance to help the San Antonio fans and get the St. Louis fans to kind of come. Plus, the locals could show up. right?
So what I thought they should have done is give us our XFL games, our conference games, keep those the same, one on the road, one at home. And then, we played at home last year. We played Birmingham and Michigan. We go to see them on the road this year. Houston, Memphis. We're supposed to play at home for home games for us this year because we played them on the road. Well, bring Memphis here. Play a road game in Houston. Same thing. 4 home games, 6 road games, but have our game in Houston instead. Play 3 games on the road against our USFL conference. That way you don't get because right now with the way it's 2 home games in St. Louis, St. Louis has an unfair advantage in the conference. And kind of to in order to mitigate that an unfair advantage for 2 home games for one team, you do that. You play 3 road games for the USFL. We still lose out on a home game, and it sucks. But it is what it is. Like I said, I mean, we understand why, and I know a lot of people are complaining about well, they could use the Alamo Stadium. They could do all these high school games. They're not gonna put a team with 15,000 people average, whatever, in a 8 to 10,000 stadium that doesn't sell beer. How do you figure out where the season ticket members are going to sit? Are we going to have to pick our own seats just for that one specific game? So it's not feasible. The logistics of it doesn't make sense.
Right. And I've got to say, I think BD's plan probably would have been the best one, given all the different options. 5 USFL games, right? Or I'm sorry, 6 USFL games. And then do our 4 USFL game or the XFL division games at home, right? That way we don't have, this uneven matchup of 2 games in St. Louis, right? And Brian is right. There is a definite advantage for St. Louis to play those 2 home games in St. Louis because they've got the home field advantage both times, even if we're the home team. Our home fan base is not going to be there. There will be a handful of us, maybe a couple hundred will show up, but like Elizabeth said right here, not everybody has the funds to pack up and travel. Even if we do, like Jan said, taking a tour bus here, right? Not everybody's going to be able to afford to travel up there. It is a 14-hour drive if I'm driving. It's 16 hours if BD is driving. Okay?
I don't know about that.
We've tested it, sir.
No, because you didn't let me drive at all.
Exactly.
Mr. A-type.
Exactly, Miss Daisy, because you drive like 60. I didn't want to hear you.
Only if it's in a 40.
That's an 80, sir. You always double down. Okay? 60's 120. 70's 140 or as fast as you can go.
Oh,
and I have someone that can back that up. Okay? Not saying that you wouldn't. I'm just saying I love to drive fast, plain and simple. But because there's a comment here. Let me find it real quick. Bum, 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 bum. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. Right here. We need a not so regular guy. Right? We need someone that knows how to drive. Anyways. Okay. So,
I would say so. There's a lot of comments on here, and it's here's what it's the economics of the league. Like it or not, St. Louis holds or gets 35,000 minimum. If they would have booked a game, a third USFL game in Houston, what we went to the Houston game last year. There was 2,000 people there. I mean, if the league is looking at it and say, hey, we cannot play this game in San Antonio. Dome's booked. Every other stadium does not logistically fit it. Where are we going to play this game? Well, we can play it in Houston, and maybe 2,000 fans show up, or we can play in St. Louis, and we're going to have at least 30 to 35,000 fans show up. From financial standpoint of the league, which is what they need to focus on at this point, This is only the second season of this league. So their finances are a big deal. So, it sucks. I get it. I understand the frustration, but it makes sense from a financial standpoint for this league to have this game in St. Louis.
Oh, 100%. So I know there's fans out there that are upset and they're talking about not renewing their season tickets because of all this and everything like that. Guys, let's not go crazy here. Okay? This is one time that this has happened. And the league needs the support. If you truly want spring football to stick around, renew your season tickets. You're going to pay less this year.
Yep.
We encourage you to travel on the road with us, at least to, if we do play Houston in Houston, even though they're supposed to play here. We'll see how the schedule breaks down and everything. But every road game that you can make it to, Arlington, for example, a Houston game, whatever. Even if we're out of town that weekend and you can make the trip to catch, the Roughnecks in TDECU where they're supposed to be, make that trip, right? Grab some friends. Go show up to the Roughnecks game in your Brahmas gear. I know the Predator couple, Rig Rocker, all the Houston super fans would love to see you there, and they will embrace you with open arms. Probably even give you some really good food. Although it is Houston, do they really have good food there? We'll have to see what happens. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. The point is, do your part, support the league. Next year will probably be much better once they get a chance to really kind of smooth out and solidify things. But we need the fans to show up. Everybody needs to show up, buy their tickets, support their team. Plain and simple, okay? This is what it comes down to. Just like BD said, it is an economic issue. It made the most sense to go for what is the sure money, okay? Just like us taking a chance last year, putting a bet down on the San Antonio Brahmas to win it all. To us, it was sure money.
So close, man. So close.
Yep. And we almost got there. But the league is playing it smart, and they are going with the guaranteed money in St. Louis. So St. Louis wants to have 6 home games. St. Louis, have your 6 home games. You guys better show up, okay? You've literally been gifted this opportunity for 6 home games that nobody else is going to get. So make sure you pack that stadium, 35 plus. I want to see you break last year's attendance record because you've been gifted with this.
Yep.
So all you St. Louis fans think you're so awesome, right? Show us how awesome you truly are. Pack that stadium. You're going to have to wear some N95 masks and everything, right? But pack that stadium. Help clean that place up a little bit. Bring that money into the league. We will do our part here in San Antonio. The rest of the league will do their part where they're at. And we'll just hope that, next year will be a better year for us, because this year we're definitely taking it all the way to the house, and we are winning that championship. And we're bringing that UFL trophy back to go with our XFL trophy from last year and this next year. Boom. Said it. So, and right here,
there's quite a few of those that were around. Yep. Hopefully they're all they're still there. I mean, we know they don't clean the stadium, so.
Yep. Find them, send us pictures, tag us in it, and maybe we'll send you a little surprise. Okay? So, now, with that being said, okay, all the craziness out of the way. Jan, you're right. I mean, the games are going to be competing with the soccer stadium stuff. I don't know if they'll all necessarily be on Sunday. You might be able to squeeze in a Saturday one if they happen to be on the road that Saturday. But you're right. I mean, you're competing with a soccer team, and they definitely don't want football cleats messing up their stadium for them, right? So it's going to be rough. Now, Elizabeth, you're right. And I'm glad to hear that. And everybody should love their Brahmas, right? Okay, now back to Jan. And I can't post that comment, but we're going to talk about it. What is going on in Houston? There is a bunch of controversy about the whole fire sale, about what's going on with players that they've drafted in the supplemental draft, or I'm sorry, in the college draft and everything. Players leaving, retiring, whatever.
So I saw something just the other day, yesterday or today, whatever. They released something like 4 or 5 players, and I mean we saw this, about a month or so ago that they released like what 15 players, 16 players, something like that. So it's I mean when you're what they were 1-9 last season, you got to make some changes, and obviously they changed their GM. So far, they haven't announced that they're making a head coach change, which I think is a mistake. Not a fan of the head coach. I think definitely made some. Definitely made some poor coaching decisions throughout the season. But they're having some massive turnover with the team, so it's to be expected.
Yeah. And what exactly is going on? I know there's been some speculation about players saying,
What's up, the Riot?
Man, do you even know what the Brahmas are, Riot? You need to show up to a game with us. We happen to know some people. We can get you in.
Yeah.
Now, Jan's comment right here. Okay. Foster's not a change you voluntarily make. You're right. However, we don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. Okay. Most people don't really know what's going on behind the scenes unless you are actually somehow connected, employed by the league. Nobody really exactly knows everything that's going on. So it's a lot of speculation. What I was saying before was that there's speculation about some players saying there is no way I'm going to play in Houston. So trade me, whatever. I'm not playing here. If this is the end of my career, then that's it. We don't know. Okay. All we can say is keep your eyes on Houston because this is kind of the hotbed of drama right now. So hopefully it's not that bad where players are saying, I absolutely refuse because Houston is such a dumpster fire that I'm not going to play there. And if I don't play at all, then I don't play at all.
Yeah. But, look at the Brahmas last year to this, or the first year to this past season. A massive turnover for that team too. It came with a coaching change. It came with, a culture change, but it was a huge roster turnover. And look how it worked out for us. So, hopefully Houston with their new GM has a plan in place to give, the Roughneck fans a much better product on the field than what they had last season.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of some turnover, Elizabeth said we lost 2 guys to Houston. We also actually lost 2 guys to the NFL. If 2 more, considering all the other ones that we've already kind of lost to the NFL. If you look at the most updated stats as of yesterday, there are now 63 UFL players in the NFL. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to stay, right? That means that they're on some kind of roster in some way, shape, or form. But it doesn't mean that they've made the 53-man roster, okay? Yeah. Unfortunately, though, we did lose Anthony McFarland to the Dolphins for right now. And we lost, where was the other one? Jalen Twyman to the Jets.
We also lost
Aaron Rodgers.
I cannot. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. The
linebacker Joel to
linebacker Joel to the Lions. I'm not going to try his last name because I'm just going to butcher it, and that man has owes more respect than me trying to pronounce his last name. So,
yes. Mr. Corby here said, still going to support the Roughnecks, whatever they do. That's what I'm talking about, right? Ride or die. Thick or thin, you stay with your team. Okay? We went through it our first year, and it stunk. You guys went through it last year, and we feel your pain. But stick with it, right? Because this is very much a fluctuational league that one year you're going to be up, next year you're going to be down. You know what that's going to be. Okay? Right here, Jan brought up a very interesting question. With coaches being seasonal, do you think there's a chance of everything that's going on with UFL that they might make some moves there? I think potentially we could, right? We may see a shakeup in the coaching structure, and some of the coaches, like the Houston head coach, maybe something happens there. Now, do I know that for sure? No, I mean, this is all speculation. We're fans
right.
just like you guys are. We have no inside information other than what the people that are actually on the inside decide to kind of leak out and talk about.
So,
Okay.
and going into Elizabeth's comment here, I I would be utterly shocked if Wade did not return as head coach next year. Um, just by how the way our draft went, all that stuff, everything the way we drafted for our collegiate draft and everything, it looks like another Wade Phillips team. So obviously, like Jay said, we're not in the know. We're not in the room with these people, but I am assuming and would be absolutely shocked if Wade did not return as head coach next year.
Yep. So, and that goes for most of the coaches. I would be really surprised. I would think almost at this point, it would probably be more decision on the coach's part than it would be on the league's part. But
Well,
there would
we'll
be,
flip. In Memphis, he's not going to be the coach next year. They announced that a few days ago or late last week or something. Whatever Coach Filippo or whatever his name is.
oh yeah, Dean Filippo or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember his first name.
Yeah.
Coach Yelly
Uh,
McYellface.
that's a good one. I like that. That doesn't fit on a jersey though, so
No, it
there goes
doesn't.
something else. But yeah, again, you know, we simply don't know any of these things yet. And I mean, as soon as we hear something, we're going to share it with you guys as soon as we can. But you're probably going to be hearing it about the same time as we are, honestly. Okay. Um, and yes, Jackie, we're all about instigating here, so I don't know why you're
Always.
surprised. Okay. Van has a great comment. I'm not going to go through all of it, but notice what he's saying right here is that the defenders are the third priority in Audi Field. Okay. That stadium was set up for soccer. The defenders are using it when it's available. Okay. Um, that stinks. But again, what makes the money? What makes the money is what's going to take the priority. Final Four here, soccer over there. St. Louis is basically kind of in a similar situation as us with their Battle Dome, the Dome of the Americas. They just have less going on, so they have a
Well,
more open
yeah, but
schedule.
I mean, with them, you know, yeah, you've got the battle chickens, but obviously in that dome, dust takes priority to everything. So
Well, in all fairness, they do a lot of monster truck events there. Okay, we pick on them a lot. It's kind of hard to keep a place clean when you're running monster trucks through there on a pretty regular basis. Uh, so maybe they need to invest in some trash bags over the seats or something like that. Like, how much could it possibly cost for a trash bag, right? There's some housekeeping that they could work on. All that to say, St. Louis had, uh, you know, a much more open schedule than we did. San Antonio is a destination. It's a tourist destination. St. Louis is also, don't get me wrong. I mean, you've got, the Arch, the whole Lewis and Clark thing. They've got tons of, museums and all these different things, whatever. But it's St. Louis.
yeah,
You know, we're at least San Antonio, right? There's the Alamo, there's the Riverwalk, there's River Center Mall, there's the whole Mission Trails. We're like what, an hour from Gonzales, Texas, where the Battle of Gonzales happened. There's all kinds of Texas history. We're an hour and a half away from Shiner, Texas. God bless Shiner, Texas, right?
right.
Um, there's a lot to do here. Okay. And so tourists like coming here because the weather is pretty amenable when they're here. Uh, it's a nice place to be.
Yeah,
Okay. Like Brahma Babe said, we're not far from the hill country. I mean, there's a ton of stuff to do here. So this is going to be a sought after destination for an event as big as Final Four. Okay. So again, let St. Louis have their 6 home games. I'm sure there's going to be a group of us that are going to be going to both of the home games. St. Louis fans, we do ask, maybe well, you know what? I'm not going to touch that one. Okay. Hang on, we're getting a message. Where are we at? Am I still here? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I still see you.
Okay. I'm trying to deal with Instagram. We're actually going live on Instagram for the first time ever. And so I'm navigating computer stuff. Beep, boop, boop, danger, Will Robinson. I don't do the computer stuff, bro. But we might potentially have somebody that's interested in joining us. But we'll see what's going on with all that. Yes, Jan, this is a great question. We actually talked about this earlier. Yes, they just basically took that fifth game off. So if tickets are $20, you'd pay $100 for the season. Well, now it's $80 because they're not charging you for that fifth game.
Yeah.
So we lost, that one home game, but we're not paying for it. We're not getting charged for it, so it works out for the fans.
I mean, it's the same price per seat ticket that we paid last year. We're just now only paying for 4 instead of 5. I mean, the math's not that hard. I see people freaking out about it, and it's just kind of ridiculous, honestly. So,
right. And then the offset is the benefits that we talked about before. We get a lot more season ticket member benefits this year, discounts, special events, things like that. So again, the league is doing their part to try and compensate us however they can. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see how it's going to break down. Okay. But it should be advantageous for us, right? Because we know how ridiculous some of those prices have been in the UFL shop and at some of the games.
Yeah.
Even for great merchandise, it's been a little bit pricey.
And so I think that was one of the things too. Like last year, a lot of the season ticket members, due to they changed their point of sale system, after the first game, and so I think they weren't able to offer the season ticket member discount on merchandise at the Dome, and that right there is a massive discount. I mean, 25% is a lot, and to not be able to have that at the Dome, it sucked, and so. Now we're gonna be able to do it at the Dome, and season ticket member specific lines. So we'll have that benefit at the home games instead of just having to order it from the shop and pay for shipping and all that stuff. So
right now, there's another thing I want to talk about real quick before we jump off the XF or the UFL here. Tailgating. We all know how big of a deal tailgating is for San Antonio. Right. It's one of the things that we hold near and dear to our heart. This is kind of the crown jewel for us. We tailgate better than anybody in the league. I don't care what you say. Okay. There's speculation that we may not be able to have our tailgating may be reduced like it was this year, or we may not even be able to have it at all. And so some people are out there saying that we're not going to have tailgating and we need to go to some of the alternative lots that are being set up. Guys, I'm here to tell you none of that is set in stone.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what the league policy is going to be, what the Dome is going to do. And specifically, it's the Alamo Dome. Okay, so this really didn't have anything to do with the league. It's with the Alamo Dome and how they want to handle all of that. Okay, nobody knows anything. So let's not start jumping to conclusions and making plans about going to X, Y, and Z or whatever until we actually know what is going to happen with the Dome.
Or even let's not spread rumors about it. So it was mentioned that may be a possibility to happen next year. That we won't be able to allow to tailgate inside the Alamo Dome parking lot. There's some alternate spots. Maybe we have to use one of those. That was suggested. It has not been confirmed. It is not official. It is not even close to being official news. So don't go out there and spread it like it is official news that came from the team. It's it was just a suggestion that something somebody had said. That's where it is right now. If it comes out that the team does say, or the Dome does say, we don't want to have people tailgating inside the lot here, then we'll go from there. But until then, just don't spread speculation as fact.
Exactly. Our guy Chris has the right idea. Discount on booze, he's in.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris was actually the unlucky recipient of our quasi tailgating at the Gunslingers game when
Man, they were trying to copy us when they had the tailgate the last game of the season. Like, shoot, man, we were doing that 3 years ago.
yes.
You know,
So BD, Chris, and I showed up to a Gunslingers game.
the first Gunslingers NAL game at the Freeman.
Yes. Pull the grill out of the back of the truck, getting everything set up. Put the, I think we had a coal grill, didn't we?
We had the can.
Or was it the propane?
No, it was a propane. So we popped the canopy, got your grill out of the back of the truck, we're setting all that up, and then the security.
Literally. Flame on the lighter, getting ready to put it on the gas grill. And security walks up and says, "Hey, you guys can't have an open flame out here." And it was like, what the hell? Like, I've got burgers I need to cook up. Like, what are we supposed to do? And literally they were like, "Well, you could sit under the tree, I guess."
Yeah, they wouldn't let us have the grill out. They wouldn't let us, pop the canopy out. So we had to throw all that crap back in. We just put our chairs under the tree on the sidewalk and drank beer for 2 hours until the game kicked off. So
it was rough. It was rough. Now, Jan was asking about an issue with the stadium in regards to tailgating. Yeah, actually, our second year, our tailgating was reduced to basically 2 hours, whereas before we had like 3 or more.
Yeah, it was it was 2 hours prior to the doors opening, which was like an hour and a half before game kickoff. Previous year, it was 4 hours before doors opening. So they shortened our tailgate time from 2 hours to 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. And anybody that tailgates knows, I mean, that's kind of difficult. You don't really have a whole lot of time to set up. You have to do, a very reduced menu. It just makes, difficulty. And Jan, you're right. You guys spoke out. You made something happen, a revolutionary moment in XFL sports and UFL sports.
You know what? Throwing lemons at people on the field was, it started a movement.
Right. The only problem is that we're fighting against the Alamo Dome staff who controls the access to get us into the parking lots in the first place. Now, I think in this situation, if they do reduce our hours, then 100%, I think we should take necessary measures and move our tailgating to a different spot, right? Where we can actually set up for as long as we'd like to. And the money is going to somebody else rather than to the Alamo Dome and to the city. Okay? I think
for sure, Jackie, for sure.
Well, but we have solutions for that, and we're working on those.
We do, but man.
And one of them is not push yourself twice as hard in the heat, so you basically pass out like a certain somebody that we know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Van, you're right. Find some people to compete with the Alamo Dome, right? But before we go that route, let's give the Alamo Dome staff and the powers that be a chance to hear our voice, to hear people like us, like you on Facebook, across the league. Let's talk about it. Let's let the staff know, hey, this is what we want. This is what we're willing to give for it, but this is what we want for what we're paying, right? $20 for parking, $25 for parking, fine. Okay, whatever. Give us the 4 hours of tailgating. But let your voices be heard through social media and whatever. And if they're not heard, then we respond with the almighty dollar, right? We move our tailgating someplace else. We give our money to somebody else because there are open lots down there and there's people that own those, not the city. So we'll find somebody that will gladly take our money and let us tailgate as long as we would like to, okay? But you let that be known through social media, okay? Right there. Mr. Fans for everyone. And that should be on everybody's checklist. And we may actually even do a show about tailgating necessities, like things you actually need for tailgating. So just, be ready for that. And, right, hydrate and stretch, right? But
I mean, the only thing I'm stretching at the tailgate is my stomach with, food. So
yeah. And Jan, you're right. I mean, we went to Audi, and it was Uber was so much cheaper to go down there, hit your bar gating, and then walk over to the stadium. Okay, so and this is a whole separate thread, pizza wars going on. We could do a whole show on the pizza wars, but we're not. We're not. Anyways, so that's kind of what's going on with the XFL and the UFL, or I should say XFL and USFL in the UFL. Lots of craziness going on. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's not immediately, go with the knee-jerk reaction. Let's give the league a chance. And let's not forget that there are other things going on that people completely glossed over, right? Read your emails. Check everything that's being offered to you, because this is actually a really good deal. Okay.
And and I think that's the thing too. I see people on Facebook. Well, what benefits do we get? I didn't get this. I didn't get this. I didn't get this. Like, did you see your email? Did you see where they said you could get XYZ at these games or at these events? And a lot of them are like, well, no, I didn't see it. So,
no, actually, I say more chocolate cake. Okay. But anyways, okay. So now that we're kind of done with that, let's talk about preseason week 2. Okay. I've got to share this one, right? Chocolate cake. Dude, it's so awesome. Inside story. You have to go to Arlington to figure out what we're talking about with chocolate cake. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Now, let's talk some Cowboys, Brian.
yes.
Okay. Real quick. I want to share this. Jan is right. They improved not only the swag, but the communication. I don't know about any of the other teams around the league, but I do know, and give a shout out to our friend John, who's a little worried. John in St. Louis is a little worried about potentially, losing his season tickets because of some financial matters and stuff like that. This is how much the league actually, thinks about you guys as the fans. John called his season ticket rep and said, hey, look, man, it's going to be a little bit hard for me to come up with half of the deposit by the deadline. What can you do with me? They extended his deadline. They took care of him. He'll be able to retain his season tickets, and he gets to pay it at a little bit later date. As long as he's paid up by the end, before the season starts, the league is going to be happy, okay? So, but, I mean, if you're having issues or whatever, if you're wondering, if you can actually swing those prices and stuff, reach out to your season ticket rep. Talk to them. I'm sure they're willing to work with you because they want happy fans, right? They've done enough and made some rough choices and had to make some really rough choices last year when they shrunk the league down, and making some rough choices with scheduling changes and stuff again this year. They're going to try and do what they can to make you happy, right? So if they got to set up a payment plan, I'm sure they're willing to work with people. Just reach out to your ticket reps and talk to them. Okay.
And that's the biggest thing. Everybody has a designated ticket rep. Make sure you know who yours is, and make sure you communicate with that person. Once again, ours is James. James is absolutely fantastic. To if we have any information, any questions, he answers us. He gets us what we need. If we need extra tickets or whatever, everybody has a designated ticket rep. Figure out who that person is. Get in contact with them, and get to know them a little bit, because hey, you text some guys like, hey, I need this, and if you've never talked to your ticket rep before, you're like, well, who the hell is this? I don't know who I'm talking to. So be familiar with the ticket rep, and they'll be more than willing to help out with you however they can.
Yep, your ticket rep's going to be your best friend. Okay, speaking of best friends and how the Cowboys are not my best friends, let's talk about preseason week 2, Brian. Did you get a chance to watch that game?
I watched some highlights. I'm not real big on watching preseason games, but I do watch highlights. Was actually pretty impressed with Trey Lance. Played a real good game. Had a touchdown. Kind of 15 for 23. Not fantastic percentage, but it's still still good. Ed just kind of had some nice control of the offense. So, like I said, was kind of impressed. Kind of our first chance to kind of see what he can do. The touchdown pass he threw was his first touchdown as a Cowboy. But I'm not thinking he's going to steal the starting job from Dak this year. But maybe next year, if the Cowboys don't want to offer Dak what Dak thinks he's worth, which he's not, Trey Lance may be an option. So that's just kind of what I want to see. That's what I wanted to see this preseason is how he does. Obviously preseason is way different than regular season, but I was really impressed with what I saw.
Yeah. And so one of the takeaways from PF, I'm reading the kind of the breakdowns from PFF, and they said one of the biggest takeaways from this was the new center, right? Third round pick. He took 21 snaps against the Raiders, all at center, and looked the part for the second straight week. 64.7 run blocking grade and a 77.7 pass blocking grade with no pressure allowed from 10 pass blocking snaps. So that's pretty amazing, right? So it's looking like your whole offensive line is going to be much stronger, much deeper, much better stacked, and more able to protect Prescott this year. And it's going to be interesting. Okay.
So yeah, sorry, I'm about to die choking on some water over here. Jesus.
That's why you don't drink water; it'll kill you, man.
Yeah, apparently, beer's never done that to me.
Nope.
So obviously, Cowboys for the last few years have had one of the best offensive lines in the league. The problem is the depth. If we had a couple guys go down, well, what's going to happen? The backup was unsure. Now we're getting some real solid backups to our starters, and the line depth is really good. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing from the line, and I saw what is Van Hurst over here. That's kind of what I've been harping on the whole offseason. I know Zeke looks better, but he's not going to be, the Zeke from, 6 years ago where he, 1,500 yards and, all that stuff. He's still probably going to be primary, goal line back, stuff like that. Like that's always been his strength. I don't know if he's can get his speed back. Once you lose your speed, it's really hard to get that back. Especially when you lose it by gaining a bunch of weight and getting older. I know firsthand. So, I if they want to make him the primary back, I just don't see how that's going to work for them for this season. But we'll see.
Yep. First and foremost, the Texans look pretty good. Unfortunately, they did beat up on Jan's Giants. But let's not forget this is also preseason, right? Quarterback situation in New York, little sketch. Hopefully they can kind of figure that out. I'm not going to post Chris's comment at all. We're gonna try and keep going. But yeah, so the Texans look pretty sharp. I think that they again, they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with, and it's gonna be rough, right? Green Bay's woes are still gonna be first and foremost a kicker, right?
Speaking of kicker, I didn't even get to talk about it for the Cowboys. Our boy, former USFL Brandon Aubrey kicked a 66-yarder. It still had a few more yards to go on it. So, that guy's got a freaking leg on him.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't count. What 66 yards is, I think, would have tied for the NFL record for a field goal made. Obviously, preseason doesn't count. So, hopefully he does it during the regular season. And Jeremy, go away, birds. Go away.
Be nice. Be nice. We like that guy.
I like him, just not his team. Die Eagles, die.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Green Bay had an absolutely atrocious showing uh, for a
I mean, y'all
preseason
got a
game.
safety, so there's
We got a
that.
safety. That's literally the only points we scored the entire game, and that score has not been duplicated since 1963. I think they said. Okay, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Our backup quarterback situation is not good at all. What the heck is his name? I can't even remember the kid's name. But the guy who's trying to compete for the number 2 spot, who's been doing actually pretty decent in training camp, had an absolute nightmarish game, and it wasn't just because of the offensive line. He was overthrowing, he was underthrowing. Man, it was almost like watching Chase Garbers from that championship game.
You
It
talking about
was
Pratt? Or you
bad.
talking about Clifford?
Clifford. Pratt came in towards the end of the third quarter, I believe, and actually had a somewhat decent showing. Not anything spectacular. He got sacked a couple of times because the offensive line just blew it. But yeah, I mean, it was an atrocious showing. Again, it's it's preseason, you know. Um, it's rough. It's rough.
I mean,
Um,
but it's preseason. You had Love didn't play. Your starters didn't play. I mean, let's back off the panic train a little bit. As your favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers likes to say, relax. I
is that when he's on the ayahuasca tea, whatever?
probably,
Probably.
I just I don't make anything out of preseason. Just it is what it is. We've got one more game, and then we'll see how it goes, and then the real season starts. So
Yeah, I just think again, you've got guys that are absolutely crushing it and challenging, the starting kicker, absolutely smoking them in preseason. And then we get to the game situation and just absolutely horrible. It's like what is going on, right? Van Hurst right here. Looks like Danucci's killed it for the Bills this weekend. Um, and there's actually quite a few. I was looking at an article from CBS Sports, and they were talking about some of the former XFL and USFL players. One of which was Xavier Worthy. Was actually out there. He got a B minus. Because he would have gotten a little bit higher, but he fumbled the ball. Gaitan, I believe, was a former UFL player with the Cowboys. He got an A minus as an offensive lineman. I'm sure there's several more that this list just doesn't even cover because it only covered like the top 10 players, right?
I'll say so. Just looking at the stats because I didn't watch the Buffalo game. Danucci went 3 for 5 for 20 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, and he had 3 rushes for -1 yard. So that not really killing it, but I mean he got some playing time. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and so let's talk about that, right? This next week 3, that's where we're going to see a lot of our XFL players getting
yeah,
their opportunity to show off what they can do. So
I
don't
think
be
yeah,
surprised.
this will be all the bubble players. I think is who we're going to see mostly in this final week, and that's uh, it's their week to shine. So
Yeah. So don't be surprised if you see some incredible breakout players kind of pop up on the radar, and most of them being, our former UFL players. Um, what else was I going to say? That pretty much covers the NFL from this last week. We are essentially out of time. Talk about a little college football here, real quick. A&M, what in 2 week, no, week and a half, basically. We'll be starting the season against Notre
yep,
Dame.
Notre Dame.
That should be a really good game. Let's see who else. Texas is taking on Colorado State Rams, that should not be a game that you want, unless you want to see like really high offensive scores. That's not going to probably be a game that you're going to watch too much. Oklahoma is taking on Central Missouri, Tire and Hair Care Center Tech.
Are they? I thought
They're
when I
taking on the
looked-
Temple Owls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're not taking on like a serious competitor. Heck, even the Badgers, my precious Wisconsin Badgers, are taking on Western Michigan Broncos. So it's almost like all the big powerhouse schools are taking easy dubs for their opening weekends.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, it's not a Texas team, but Georgia is playing Clemson week 1. That's a 1 versus 14 matchup, so that's pretty, and obviously, I mean, A&M's ranked 20, Notre Dame's ranked 7, so kind of at least in the SEC, those are a couple, top 20 matchups for the first week of the season.
Yeah,
you got LSU that's playing USC, so that's 13 versus 23. So, not every team is having a first week bye.
That's true, and you got 2 teams here that are both taking first week buys. So, I don't even know what those schools are. But Florida doesn't exist. That's God's waiting room, so we don't pay attention to it. Just to try and rile her up.
As Homer Simpson says, that's America's Wang.
Yeah, truth. Manning did actually, and there's a bit of a controversy brewing there in Texas because Manning actually did really good. So maybe there might be some some pressure up in Austin about who's we don't know what college football is, considering don't even, I'm not even going to acknowledge her. Big Ten for a reason, baby. That's all I'm saying.
And then we got UTSA, who their first week they're taking on Kennesaw State, which I've never even heard of that school. So
yeah, don't even know what that means. So that should be a good game for UTSA. And I'm actually excited because a lot of the kids. So I worked for a local school district here for a little while, and helped out with football games. That's actually kind of partly where I got to know Milton Hope, the hopefully voice of the San Antonio Brahmas in the future. He's definitely the voice of the UTSA Roadrunners now. But that's where I got to know him, was doing some of those high school football games. And so a lot of those players that we watched a couple of years ago, they're freshmen, stuff like that, are now in the college leagues playing for UTSA and playing for bigger schools and stuff like that. So it's nice to see some of those names that you recognize, and they're absolutely killing it out there in the in some of these colleges. So just a lot of fun stuff that's going to be happening in the next couple of weekends. Again, we've got preseason week 3 coming up this weekend. We've got college football kicking off next weekend, and Robert, you say that, but first of all, it is called the Lombardi Trophy, right? After the late great Vince Lombardi. And second of all, how many do you guys have? Okay, then. So that being said, I think we pretty much covered everything that we wanted to talk about in our chat. Brian, you got anything else you want to talk about before we sign off for tonight?
I do not think so.
Okay. So again, we'll give a great shout out to our friends over at the Alternative Football Network, XFL Mike G, Pro Arena Talk, our friends at the Fuel Network, just everybody across the board, all you fans, thank you so much for all of your support. We're actually on episode 76 tonight of Texans Talking Football.
That's crazy, dude.
We're inching closer and closer to that 100th episode, right? And it wouldn't be possible without you guys. So thank you all very much. Also, definitely got to give a shout out to our sponsor right here, W Energy Drink. We talk about it all the time, but look at some of these incredible flavors: Galaxy Grenade, Dragonade, and Beach and Peach. Right, this is some really great stuff. Right, it's got laser focus because the coffee fruit extracts. all this brain food, the L-taurine, L-whatever, glutamine, citrulline, B3, B6, B12, and C. It does have caffeine in it, but it's not a whole bunch of caffeine, so you don't get all jittery and stuff. You just get a good, nice boost. But anyways, if you go to our Facebook page, click on the link. That'll take you to our online shop here where you can get some of this stuff. The 3-flavored sampler pack is $16.49 right now. And I think you may even get a shaker with it. So, for $17, 3 flavors and a shaker, that's not a bad deal. So if you guys are looking for some energy drinks to kind of help get you through the day like I was today, I was dragging. But that might be a good option for you to check out. And it's worth it, just to try for that price.
Look at that, right up there.
Chris, if you get a chance to go to Lambeau Field, please go. It is absolutely worth it. Okay. No, that's Galaxy Grenade, Brahma Babe. Galaxy Grenade, not Galaxy Renee. Okay. Anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for all the support. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're definitely going to try and make it a point to be more active on our socials this year, especially now with us broadcasting to Instagram, because X apparently wants to take $1 million from you just to broadcast there. So yeah, guys, love you so much. Appreciate you. We'll catch you guys next week. All right.
Later, guys.